This woman is really lucky. It was just a random trap. Tell them we got the boar. Enough to feed her for days. And she hunted crocodiles in the water. They say crocodile tastes like chicken. No seasoning at all. The original comes through better. When you look at it like that, it's heaven. The challenge came to the shores of Panama. There are many wild pigs in the thick jungle. The most annoying thing is mosquitoes. From time to time, it gets inside people. Plus the big temperature difference between day and night. People don't dare come here to experience it. The reason for Cammie's challenge is simple. Just trying to get a bonus. To make things better for myself and my daughter. After all, 21 days away from my daughter. The mood is very mixed. Hopefully, the wilderness survival skills you learned earlier, you can use it in a challenge. The show thinks she's got some potential. I hope it explodes in a challenge. And Cammie's partner Gary is a retired cop. He's a little older though, but in terms of experience, it's very abundant. He has 7 children and a wife to support him. He can't imagine how he's going to lose, you know. No one of the show was so highly rated. Let's see how they do on the island. Cammie has been released. Jump into the sea immediately for the rendezvous point. Galeno was soon in the water too. He wants his partner to be ready. It would be nice if they were stronger. Soon the two sides came to the shore to meet. The first meeting was relatively friendly. It's just a little awkward being naked. How about we check out the equipment? Gary's tomahawk can handle a lot of problems. And Cammie brought the bow drill. Might as well just use the firearm. According to the map from the show crew, they're going into the jungle to make camp. The two talked as they walked. It was talking and laughing all the way. Cammie was afraid his partner would get sick. Force yourself to compromise. The most important things right now are shelter and water. He doesn't want to drink raw water. Look as far up the river as you can. Went around and around a couple of times. Finally found an empty place. It just needs a little work here. After a brief discussion, begin to deal with it. Cammie didn't realize his partner was 3 rounds older. And he's holding up so well physically. So far, Gary thinks it's going well. I'm sure I can do it if I keep it up. I suddenly realized that the shape was interesting. It's almost like the universe is encouraging itself. People like Cammie don't feel anything. Gary would be the only one who would feel so happy. She's not a fan of her partner's beliefs. It's easy to be lectured. The water source next door looks good. Take the time to see the fire. Try to boil the water early to replenish the water. Fires are also needed at night to keep mosquitoes away. Gary is not familiar with the bow drill fire. Only Cammie can keep rubbing. I'll soon have my first ash, but it's hard to burn that much. Gary thought he might as well bring a firearm. And the worst part is it's still used. Why bring a new one? Cammie can only rub it over and over again. Gary couldn't stand to see it. I suggest we call it a day. Get some rest and work on it tomorrow. The temperature at night was even colder than expected. The body was already trembling, plus all kinds of mosquito harassment. Gary couldn't sleep in this environment. Is there something approaching now? Scare them to get up and look around. I hope it's not a big animal. Didn't get much rest all night. Every now and then I'd be woken by a nearby sound. You don't know how you made it to dawn. The mental state of the two is very bad. Gary just wants to rehydrate. I don't want the dehydration to get any worse. Increasingly dissatisfied with Cammie's bowstring. I might as well have brought my own firearm. But what can be done? Just waiting for her to light the fire. Cammie originally made fires in the desert. You really just need your hands. But it's a lot harder in the jungle. Gary was so thirsty. Keep waiting for the fire to come out. I'm afraid the body will not hold on to faint first. The atmosphere in the team is getting really depressing. To change that, Gary had to venture out to drink from the stream. I was reluctant to do so, but I really have no way. I'm just going to drink it all up. It tastes a little better than I expected. I hope there are no physical problems, right? Cammie tried a little before. A temporary solution to the water problem. We still have to get the fire out. Otherwise, it really freezes people at night. Gary's not expecting to make a fire. Wondering how we're going to make it through the night. Would you like to know if it's too late to change the crew? I'm getting impatient with Cammie. I don't know how the show gets selected, do I? He doesn't know how to drill a fire, okay. The mood is getting lower and lower. The temperature at night was freezing. Gary felt like he was shivering with cold. He didn't want to cheat on his wife. Hugging a strange woman. I can't handle it psychologically. The muscles made waves of wine. We don't know how long this will last. The body is going to the brink of collapse. Let's hope the sun comes out soon. The challenge is on its 3rd day. The long sunshine warmed them up a little. Shivering at night also takes a lot of energy. Now we need more than just a fire. And find something to eat. Cammie was hoping to talk to Gary. I had a really bad night. If this continues, the challenge is certainly unattainable. I hope Gary can share his body heat. Even if it's back to back. It's better than hugging yourself and shaking. Someone else would be willing to take it. But Gary is so stubborn. 21 days with a strange woman. This is as far as I can go. So no matter how cold it is, he won't hug. I'd rather be carried away in the cold. I don't even cross the line. Cammy was so speechless about it. We'll all be naked and we'll do the challenge together. Is that okay? I just want to hug each other warm. What's the problem? There are cameras around to shoot. Are you afraid that Cammy might eat someone? The relationship between the two is getting worse and worse. If the photographer wasn't watching, it feels like they're going to fight any minute. Gary doesn't think he can make a fire without Cammy. Our night's cold enough to cuddle. Cammy is to blame for everything that went wrong. I hope next time I understand the challenge. Let's pick the right tool. That's a hell of a deal for Cammy. Cammy didn't think she was that bad. Just underestimated the humidity of the jungle. If it were a desert area, I'm sure I can make a good fire. She didn't give up. After a brief adjustment, the fire was tried again. It's been a lot smoother than usual. After a while, there was smoke coming out. Cammy feels more successful than ever. Put the ashes in the tinder. Breathe slowly and carefully. The moment I saw the fire burn, Cammy was on the verge of tears. This is not easy. Gary was very embarrassed to see this moment. I just said Cammy couldn't build a fire. I didn't expect to get punched in the face. Having this fire after the quality of life that is greatly improved. I can finally get a good night's sleep tonight. Cammy accepts Gary's apology. The team relationship was reestablished. Hurry up and gather more firewood to stay afloat. If this goes out, there's no guarantee it'll light up again. Gary admits he was a little loud up front. Cammy should not be underestimated. Maybe it's old age. The body is feeling unusually tired. Work less efficiently than ever before. Cammy suggested Gary take a break. There's something really wrong with this situation. For safety's sake, I had to call the doctor. It's worse than I thought. Gary was old and in poor health. Now it's dehydration and exhaustion. Doctor's advice is to give up the challenge and go back to recuperation. Cammy didn't want her partner to quit the challenge, but Gary's body couldn't handle it. He can't put himself at risk for the sake of a challenge. I got family waiting to get back. Say goodbye to Cammy properly. I'm sorry I have to go home. Let's hope she succeeds in the challenge. Cammy was so emotionally devastated. I thought I'd get better once I built a fire. I didn't expect my partner to leave. Facing challenges alone at night. The mood is too anxious. There's nothing safe about the shelter. I've got mosquitoes all over me. Fire doesn't change anything, does it? It's a challenge no one deserves. I barely made it to day 5. Cammy's gonna rebuild the shelter. You have to be comfortable. It makes you hungrier when you get something. Gotta find something to eat. Fortunately, there are coconuts on the shore. I thought it would fill my stomach. I didn't realize the meat was stinky. The mood is getting lower and lower. She has no idea what to do next. Okay, it's bad enough to do it alone. The challenge is on its 6th day. Cammy still came to the shore in search of food. They found coconuts near the palm trees. These look a lot fresher. When you crack it open, it's very juicy. This is really great. It finally makes me feel a little better. Too bad Gary never got to taste it. If only there were a few more. The only problem is nighttime discomfort. It always feels like animals are coming. Cammy took a closer look at the grass. Isn't it a wild boar? Luckily, it didn't make it to the shelter. In this way, he came to the 7th day with fear. Cammy hasn't been getting much sleep lately. The state of mind is terrible. Now she's gonna lay some traps. I don't expect to catch the boar. Just hoping to block it out a little. Don't look at the thin rope. It's a paracord. It's perfectly capable of lifting the boar. The challenge came on the 8th day. First thing I do when I wake up is check for traps. Unfortunately, it didn't trigger. Instead, we lost the bait. That really pissed off Cammy. Upgrade the trap to optimizer immediately. She doesn't believe it's possible to fail. There were animals at the night trap, but no harvest for days on end. Every time Cammy came by, the bait was gone. There's no trace of the trap triggering it. Is there a possibility? I forgot to set the bait. She didn't want to admit that she was a bad trap. The mood is getting lower and lower. I want to go back and hug my daughter right now. Now I don't know what to do. The stomach is really very hungry. The challenge is now 18 days old. Since the trap doesn't bring any food, then you have to look for it yourself. The best thing is to eat it whole. Suddenly there's a crocodile in the creek. It's not very big. I'm perfectly capable of taking it down. Gingerly around the back. Just stick a spear through it. Little gators don't have the ability to put up a fight. Cammy took the axe and hit it on the head. I can finally get a good meal. If the stomach is not too hungry. She really didn't want to touch the crocodile. I was afraid I'd get hurt and never see my daughter again. In that case, the hand didn't stop. Now she's going to go back and put the alligator on the grill. Enjoy the wild food. Seasoning that's not going to exist anymore. Just lay it out to dry. There'll be meat to eat when we evacuate. I have to say, this alligator meat really tastes like chicken. Cammy thought she could bring some for her daughter. It's just that the mosquitoes at night can't stop it. And keep an eye on the alligator. We can't let animals steal our house. To reduce the itching caused by mosquitoes, I even put urine on my face. It worked out pretty well. It just smells a little bad. It's getting closer to the end of the challenge. I didn't expect a sound from the trap. Cammy immediately rushed over to take a look. Must have been very happy before the switch. Only now there's crocodile meat to eat. Enough to last until the end of the challenge. There is absolutely no need to solve it yourself. After simple thought, decided to let the piglet go. I hope I can return next time when I've gained some weight. Cammy doesn't want any more killing. And so it went until the last day. She just wants to get back to her daughter. After a little tidying up, it's time to prepare for the evacuation point. All you have to do is follow the river. There must be a lot of danger lurking on the road. Plus, their own physical strength is not enough. I can't walk fast enough. Cammy still has to find a way to avoid the thorns. It's like a knife walking all the way, and there's a big snake in the middle. Cammy had to move the branch to one side. I hope I don't bite you when I walk by. Fortunately, the snake paid no attention to her. That's how Cammy made it to the extraction point. The moment I saw the car coming, I can finally breathe a sigh of relief. I don't know how my daughter is doing. I hope we can be together soon. I don't know who's going to challenge me. Let's wait and see.